Hello, thank you for checking out my video. My name is Luna. Today I will be talking about different black books to read because I know it's been a struggle or sometimes it'd be hard to find black authors. And what made me decide to write this video, when I was in Walmart, I picked up these two books. I wasn't trying to pick them up, but then when I saw them, I got excited because of this book. This is the Zora Hurston book that Alice Walker helped take out. This was the book. This was like Zora Hurston's, I think, last book, and it talked about the last black slave to ever come to America. And so I found it out because I heard Alice Walker talk about 2 years ago and how she was going to release the video, the book finally. So when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get it. But then I also was kind of broke. So this one I was was like 12. This one was like 13. I was like, should I get it? But I held both of them in my hand. I'm just like, I should get it. And so, well, the reason I want to Beloved because I really have been getting into reading more Toni Morrison books. And then I was just also saying earlier how I want to update my library. Like, I just want to get a nice bookshelf and then have different book authors and black authors, just so I can have different things. And so I just want to go into different black authors that I really like. I got some non-fiction suggestions, fiction suggestions. And so I first want to start with the non-fiction. I personally don't have this book anymore. It's called Ain't I a Woman by Bell Hook. I read the book when I was a freshman in college. It was in my African American literature class. And I really love that book. If you're into about black feminism and just the journey of the woman's influence on the suffrage movement and then just black woman roles in a good book about black women and feminism. And I'm sorry, my phone, I had too many videos, so I had to go do a round of deleting before I can continue. And so, book, I actually have this book. It's called, no I don't, yes I do. In Search of My Mother's Garden by Alice Walker. As you can tell, as I mentioned her before, I really do love Alice Walker. Well, besides I kind of got hurt when I went to that thing, had the book, was trying to get an autograph. She kind of like ran from me, but it is what it is. And so I really like this book because it's Alice Walker and she's just discussing her childhood and even motherhood, adulthood as well. And just talk about different black female writers and their history. So it's a really good book. That's when I first heard about Zora Hurston. And I always said I wanted to check out more of her books. And then, moving on from that, we'll have The Well-Read Black Girls by Gloria Adams. It's a really good book if you want to check out different black authors, even from today to, back. So moving on from Well-Read Black Girls, another great book is Jambalaya if you're interested in black spirituality. I actually have that book. It's very good with teaching you different charms, how to build altars. She gives you information on different Yoruba deities. She'll give you information on like Shango, Oshun, and then just building it up. She'll give you a couple spells, like cleaning spells. And then she also talks about how she grew up in New Orleans and just seeing her grandma practice little stuff, and then just remembering it from childhood and how just like the original just grandmas just doing little spells and stuff like that, compared to how she went back today, or I don't know how old this book, but when she went back years later as an adult, just to see how different it got, how popularized it got, how taken over it became very, let's say, just commercial. But yeah, it's a very good book. She also teach you, like, if you want to do the altar just for a certain type of deity, like she'll teach you what Oshun like as offerings, what Shango like as offering, what Legaba like as offerings. So yeah, if you're very interested in exploring African, spirituality, I want to say this is my favorite book of actually just getting started into it. And so just moving on, and just in case you say any of the black dudes, they get upset like, well, you ain't do no black male artists, I have them right here. And I'm going to start off with The Soul of Black Folks by Du Bois. This was another one that I learned about and read about in my African American literature class. It was just very interesting and very informative, just going over Black history and also just seeing him write stuff about during his time. I remember one story in particular because I think it's a very interesting topic. It was about a girl he was teaching, and he was like, she was the brightest student that he ever met. But the issue was just life in general. Like, she was smart and intelligent, but she couldn't go anywhere because she had to stay and help out with her family and help out on a farm, and they really didn't care about her education. So I think he was like, she dropped out at a later date, and he was like, it stuck with him because he saw somebody with so much potential to make it, but just the everyday struggle of just Black life and trying to do for your family, she couldn't go beyond of what that situation. And then moving on from him, I did another one, the autobiography of Frederick Douglass. I love that story. This is another one I got from my African American literature class. This is just side note. When you're in college and you're Black or even white, take an African, I can't get it out. Take an African literature class because it's very informative and it just opens you up to different artists or writers. And just back to Frederick Douglass. So it just talked about his journey of being a slave from a childhood, and then when he became an adult and escaped, and just dealing with being a free slave or being free compared to when he was a child and he was enslaved. I remember one particular thing he talked about. It was like the master's wife. She was like from the north, so she was much nicer to him. Like, she taught him how to read and write and stuff like that. But he just noticed years later when she got more wrapped up into the culture of how more evil she became and how she just didn't want to deal with him. And now moving on to the fiction books, I'm going to start it off with my favorite book from my childhood, Dramma High by Elle Devine. This is like the best book series ever. I love it because it talks about what introduced me to African spirituality, first of all. But it was just interesting just seeing this, your average Black teenager going through life, her dramas and stuff like that. And then also going home, dealing with, magic and stuff like that. Like, her grandma was like the lead, I don't want to say witch because that's not witch, but like, lead person of the neighborhood to get charms and spells from. And so she was supposed to also, it was like her story of becoming where she needed to go to take her grandma place in the future. And as it's going on now, Elle Devine is still writing books for Dramma High. A book just released about 3 or 4 months ago, maybe now. I got the book read it in one day. I really love that series. I can't wait for the next one. And then I mentioned Children of City and Bones earlier when I said I can't pronounce the author name. And I love Children of City Bones because I want to say this is my first introduction of just like a Black fantasy book. It takes place in a different, time zone, fantasy world. And it's mostly just like all Black cast. It ain't just like, how most fantasy stories is. All white people and a sprinkle of very, very light Black people. So it was just interesting reading that. And then also she just released the second book of the series called Children of Virtue and Value. I bought it. I haven't read it yet because I haven't had the time, but I can't wait to read it. And then going on, this is another favorite author from my childhood. I probably shouldn't have been reading the books as a child, but I did. And if you were thinking Zane, I'm not talking about Zane, even though that's honorable mention because Zane books, very sexual, very good. But the author I was talking about was Brenda Jackson. She has over about 400 or maybe even more amazing books. And it ain't just like, it deals with Black love, but it ain't, our usual Black love books that's kind of towards us. It ain't your drug dealer and your pimps and the girl being a stripper and she meet a pimp and they fall in love, somebody dies. Or it ain't like, well, it was a good girl, she meet this thug, he get her into the street life. It's none of that. This is just like normal middle class Black people. You get, okay, it was a doctor, he meets a teacher, they go on dates, they have situation, and they fall in love. It's a sex scene in there because it's adult Black books. but it's just more pure and not as crazy as out there. It's more, I want to say, in touch. Well, it's like it has a touch of real life, but okay, it's not a stereotype of what they think Black life is all about. Like, this is just your pure Black love of just two normal people meeting and falling in love. And she follows it through, like, it's like the Westmoreland books, and it follows a family, and it's like each one you're introduced to a character, and then they get a book next where they meet somebody. And then moving on from Brenda Jackson, it's called The Bells by Donnelly Clayton. I don't know if I said that right. But I remember just going in the library and just seeing the cover, and it was like a Black girl, and she had like these flowers in her hair, and I was like, ooh, I wonder what's this about. So I took the time and read it, and I really loved it. It was something different. Well, I don't know if she's Black because, well, you got to read the book. It's somewhere it's like people with gray skin and then people with color. And it's just like, well, and they're supposed to be like the most beautiful women in the world, and they help give makeovers and stuff like that, but you really should check it out. It's something different and very interesting to read. And then last but not least, this was the book or book series when I was in middle school and everybody read books. Even the people that hated reading books and like the state that they hated reading books read the Blue Fur series. It was so interesting just in middle school. I want to say this was my Black series of Degrassi, because it was all the drama, the high school drama, the romance, the dealing with family issues. And I want to say it was like I want to say they're not even that big, and I want to say it's about 23 books in the series. Could be less, could be more. I stopped reading about 9th grade high school, so I don't know if it stopped. And like I said, that's all for what I have on my list. And if you are interested in reading but also don't have the funds, you could check the library. If you don't want to go to the library or you don't feel like you have the time, the library actually have this great book called the great app called Overdrive. Overdrive lets you, if you have, a library card and the library number, you could just put your number in and have a login and stuff like that. And you could check out books online, like the auto books, and then you'll get it for maybe, if you like to select maybe like 7 days or 14 days, and then it automatically go back. So if you're one of those people just like me who always forget to turn in their library books and just go crazy with Overdrive fees, you don't have to worry about that with this app. I also want to just post a clip at the end of the video just to show you what it looked like in the Apple Store. Well, that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. I hope you like it. If you liked it, please like and subscribe. I also have a Instagram channel. I do tarot readings, different type of readings, just post. It's called Black Pixies, just the same name. Well, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a blessed day.